I've spent the first 400 days in my forever world just building, and I've been loving it. But with some massive plans ahead, gathering every block by hand just isn't going to do it. So today I'm taking the next step and building 5 automatic farms. But before we get to some of the bigger farms, I've got to sort out a new food supply. Because I'm running out of baked potatoes. And well, let's be honest, baked potatoes ain't really the best food type to use. Instead, I've gone ahead and prepared a few resources here to create a hoglin farm in the nether. But I am still missing a block that requires me to explore the nether a bit. Oh, that's a couple of ghasts. And we are going to need this biome later. And I should probably put on some gold. One. Oh, yeah. Shouldn't I? Isn't there a 100% chance to get the music disc from that? Where did the other one? Oh, he despawned. Oh, well. We don't need this biome quite yet because the block I am missing is warped fungus. As if you didn't know, but actually, now that I think about it, they spawn throughout here as well. And the reason I need this block is because hoglins are actually scared of these and will run into the lava and become our food source. I just need, I think, 5 running around here. Hopefully we don't run into a hoglin. Got all my mushrooms now with no surprise attacks from any hoglins, and I spotted this enderman here, which is great because we do also need a couple of ender pearls. Back in the overworld, let's get our items just grabbed up. Got a few more resources now on me as well that we need to use to actually break the bedrock, as I realized we need to do that to get up and down easily. Should have everything I need except the TNT. Luckily, I have some gunpowder laying around. Let's just craft up 8 for attempts. Yeah, I trust myself enough for that. We got a blended steel in case we do get stuck up there. We can get back down. And I think we're ready to go. Just got to get up towards the nether roof, which, oh, that was actually really close. Just to find, I think, yeah, 127. A few more ladders and throw that in the corner and we're up. Now let's just see if I can build up one of these bedrock breakers correctly. Think this is correct. Let's just lift that, do that, turn on some fast right click and we didn't do it. Well, that's why we brought more blocks with us to try it again. Yes, bedrock has been conquered. Perfect. Now from here we just gotta head east, which is this way, and we should run into the Crimson Forest. Perfect. Just gotta make sure that we get in here. Having made sure we are fully within the Crimson Forest, we can start building up the farm, which is a really simple design made by Raiseworks. With the chamber done, extending out a spawn platform where the warp fungus we gathered is used on the side and back edges to scare the hoglins to run towards the output. Then, to ensure we don't get any other mobs spawning, placing a bunch of torches down as hoglins don't have any light restrictions to spawn. Which pretty much completes up the farm. We've just got to add in a lava bucket, and now we've just got to get up so that the mobs at the bottom of the nether, or well, under the roof, despawn and our hoglins hopefully start spawning up here. Oh, we have our first. Oh, he's just running back and forth, and there he goes. That's food. Yes, I'm not even all the way up yet. Got myself a little box up here that we can look on down, and hopefully we see a few more spawning. Liz, I must be too low down, I guess. Move that up a little higher now, and I definitely think we're getting more spawns. Well, we're actually getting some spawns. Oh, there we go. One of them, at least. I left for about 10 minutes just letting the hoglins spawn to hopefully stock up on a little bit of food at least. I also switched to the Vanilla Tweaks bedrock, and I gotta say, this is so much nicer on the eyes. And looking, ooh, not only is the leather really nice, but 3 stacks of cooked pork chop, and I wasn't even up there for 10 minutes. Well, don't mind if I do. Now, back in the overworld, we've got to kick off some material gathering, where I want to head down into the mines, as I'm all out of pretty much all stone materials. I tend to use a ton of polished deep slate while doing redstone, so I want to stock up on a few stacks of cobbled deep slate to use for both that and to build the buildings around the farms, because of course I want to decorate them. Having filled up my inventory from that, I'm officially putting the brand new mine storage to use, sending up the minecart chest filled to the brim to be put through the auto sorter. While that works, I also need a refill on top, finishing off this blob of it I started at some point in the past. On my way up, stopping at the stone level to gather up some more andesite and granite made so much easier now that I have a station here, meaning I don't have to chase the minecart. Back up at the surface, I'm really hoping this has worked, which yes, we can grab our deep slate and tough, where after a bit of crafting, we've got a bunch of stone materials ready for us to use. So let's move over to wood resources, where I've got a bit of birch that I want to strip down. I'm pretty much out of oak, so figured I'd chop a couple of the oak trees down behind the stables and wheat storage, as this is where I plan to eventually build the honey farm, getting 2 birds with 1 stone. I'm also all out of spruce, and I need about 4 stacks of chests for the storage systems of the farms, so chopping down a good couple of spruce trees to be able to craft all of that. Not all of the 4 stacks of chests will be chests though, as I need a ton of hoppers, which has me running over to the iron farm I built in the previous episode to restock on iron to craft said hoppers. Changing it up a bit, I'm pretty much all out of rooted dirt, and I want to expand the paths a bit, so I need to repair my shovel. Right over to the dark oak forest, where a lush cave resides beneath the surface, and spend a few minutes clearing out the rooted dirt underneath an azalea tree to refill my supply so that I can keep building my paths. While out here, I'm also out of brown mushroom blocks, so might as well chop the caps off of a few of those. Having dropped that off in the storage, I'm just now remembering I want some weathered copper, so creating yet another field of copper items outside of my starter base. I really need to sort out a proper place to oxidize copper. But that's a future plan for now of down south. Over the ocean towards the mangrove, where I need a refill on a bit of mud. And I'm pretty much out of mangrove back home and want to use a bit, so as much as I dislike chopping mangrove, I'm spending a couple of minutes doing so. Because at the end of the day, it's a lot easier doing in a mangrove forest, where I don't have to remove all of the roots. With that done, before heading back home, I'm heading even further down south to the tiny little mesa to gather some red sand to turn into red sandstone for some gutters. And with a bunch more crafting done, some more redstone resources crafted, we've got a ton of resources to build both the wool farm and honey farm. But before we can start building, we have a few preparations to do. I need to move the nether portal somewhere permanent, but not today. For now, let's just get it torn down. My animals are also in the way, so just move the cows off to the side. Then I want to build our wool farm right here, but do need to move the sheep as well a bit to the side to make place for the barn that will go on top of the wool farm. And yes, I said on top of the wool farm. I've got a design created by Borkon, which is minecart based opposed to the Observer 1x1 design that is really common. But it has one downside compared to that, which is the size, which is why I'm clearing out a large room underground. Got all of the resources moved over here now into some double chests. And ooh, we're actually missing a resource. We, of course, need a whole bunch of grass as well. Now, to kick off this farm, we are going to start with a collection system, which will work using hopper minecarts. Stretching 3 lines of rails across some deep slate and a little unloading area at one end with a hopper line will route to the storage. Above this comes the area for the sheep, where I'm deviating from the original design by creating a row of powered rails off to one side. And I usually just run a single color of glass across here, but this time around it is very important that we put the right colored sheep on the right track, as the reason for these empowered lines is because I want to add in a off switch to this farm. And that made it very, very complicated, but I'm pretty happy with the results. Before we go any further, though, I do want to bring in the line of dispensers, which will actually be harvesting the wool from the sheep, where the way that they will be activated is via a detector rail right here that will just run along. And since we have this at a up angle, the minecart will also turn around and go back towards that side. We're gonna have to run a few more hoppers here a little later, but for now I just want to add a single row of hoppers on the back of these so that we can fill them up with shears. And then we'll just run some grass, because the reason why this farm works so much better than those 1x1 designs is because, first of all, the sheep travel back and forth here, which means that it's nearly always exposed to a grass block, which it can eat. And then there's also just so much more grass around to spread down here that they regen faster. Now, before we put the cap on this, we should probably bring in the sheep themselves. And I really don't like this part. No use complaining. Grabbed some leads to lead down the sheep into the farm with, and it wasn't actually a horrible process. Made a lot easier than in the past, since the sheep were above the farm and didn't have to lead them up a little staircase. With a cap on this, it's looking really good, but I'm looking through my resources and I'm going to need another block that I don't have. Just gonna grab a chest plate and move the nether portal over here, as I need to head on in and find that nether fortress, which I think was over this way. Well, maybe it was the bastion I'm remembering. Oh no, wait, there it is. Yeah, it was over this way. Definitely got to make an easier way over here so that I don't have to, well, first of all, run through a bastion, and second of all, don't have to run over all the soul sand. Oh, blaze burner, perfect. Ouch. Oh, this is gonna go very poorly. Don't know why I didn't bring a shield. Oh, mistakes were made. Mistakes were made. Yep. Second death there then. Now, there was some fire there, and I am really just hoping that my mending pickaxe did not go into said fire. That would be really bad. I mean, we are approaching day 500 where I can actually get a bunch of mending books, but we're still not there. And, well, I really just want that. I really don't want to lose it. Oh, right. Oh, no, I see my pickaxe, and there's a blaze right next to it. Why did they do so much damage? Oh, I really died in a really bad spot, didn't I? Okay, I think my items are fine. Oh! No! Oh! That could have been the pickaxe. Oh, I couldn't see it first. Okay, nearly had a heart attack. We're good. Whew. 1,000 years later. Okay, 19 should be enough. Any wither skeletons around? I'd love to get a skull. Actually, we considering, oh wait, there is one over here. Okay, we've already died once. Let's not die again. Let's head home. That was a little messier than I thought, but some crafting done, and we have our 16 copper bulbs now. Now, to truly make this farm a stab design, a messy system to turn it on. Or I think it's messy because I'm not the best at redstone, but trying to learn, and it took me about 2 hours in a creative world of fiddling around with this to get it to fully work. But the opposite side of our storage is a lot easier, as that's where I line the farm up to, and I'm actually quite proud of the system. In the future, I might redesign it to have one chest wall, 16 blocks long. Actually, I probably should have done that. No, shouldn't I? Oh, well, too late. I added in some colors up here, and we should be able to turn on and off the farms down. So if we now were to flip this lime wool, we should see the lime sheep head off, and that should now be going back and forth, and yes. Oh, that's working. Turn that off, and it comes right back. Checking the output down here. We have lime wool. Perfect. And let's maybe also test the opposite side with the red one, a much more complicated line. Oh, there we go. Pistons activate. Then the same system to send the redstone down vertically. I did hear the shears go off, which means, yep, the red sheep is currently going. Need to turn that back off. And, well, we should have the red wool down here. Oh, yes, we do. Oh, this is going to be great. All we got to do now before we can start working on the sheep barn is the actual storage. I want to stockpile a fair bit of wool and, of course, also sorted by color. So a fairly bulky system, but it should at least work. extending up white stained glass from the hopper line below to connect the farm and storage through a bubble column. And the farm is working. I've actually powered it on and it's currently stockpiling wood in the hoppers back here. And once this gets up to 40, it'll start dropping down into the actual chests. But this one has only been running for a few minutes and we're already up to 22 wool. So it's going to take a minute for it to get fully started. But once it does, this should be a really good supply of wool. So while we wait for that to start filling up, let's grab a few blocks to start building with. To start laying the foundation of the barn, I think it would look really good with a diagonal building down towards the crossroads, as both of the paths on either side are at a diagonal, giving the feel as if the building was constructed with that in mind. And since we are on a sloping piece of terrain, the wool farm had to sit fairly low down, meaning the storage is also quite low compared to the terrain, so I'm sorting out a small little extra path running down the side of the building to an entrance. Which means we can now enter, and we're actually starting to fill up on wool, and especially nice light gray wool. Oh, it's gonna be so nice not having to farm it, and honestly just being able to use banners and stuff freely. Oh, it's gonna be great. But before we continue working on the building with this little path in, I kind of want to fix up the terrain back here, and what better way to do that is there than to bring in another field. I love fields. Another thing I've been loving is taking a shortcut across here with the horse when I run over towards the iron farm, so I should probably also create a proper pathway for it to use. I really want a beetroot field soon, but I thought it'd make more sense for a third wheat field being this close to the sheep farm. Then to wrap this back area up, we of course need another custom tree. This one being half newly designed, I took one of my B-dubs inspired trees and tweaked it to make it rounder and fit the area better. And if you like seeing these builds slowly improve and take root, consider rooting for the channel with a subscription. And I'm only half gonna apologize for that terrible pun. Let's get back to the wool farm building, where I want to use a bunch of oak blocks and some birch jungle. And I saw something with chisel bookshelves that I really want to try myself. Let's also grab a piece of sandstone and a flower. Continue up the pillar supports here on the ends, and then comes a part of the diagonal buildings that I don't really love, which is detailing, where we're bringing in a darker block here where I want to bring in a window above it. Luckily, something that's been made easier now, I think, with the oak shelves is if we place that sort of like this and taking a step back, if I want to bring in a window here now, we don't have that open to this side, which I think is really going to help. This is where I want to use the bookshelves now as a replacement for our windows, as you get this little darker spot with the empty bookshelves and you get a few lines in it, which is just, I think it's really cool. I don't remember who I saw it by, but I saw it on the post on Pinterest that I had to use it. Throw a little flower in just to emphasize the little darker spot below the window. We'll just add in a spruce sign as well, and it's still looking a little empty, so we can throw in some of our window shades as well. And I think that's looking really good for not having any actual windows and hiding a redstone farm right behind the wall. Continuing with this palette around the rest of the foundation, completing up the first floor where I brought in some bigger windows around the back and no windows in the front. I will get back to the front for now, throwing on a partial deep slate roof, as I want a second story to this building, but I want it to be smaller than the first to add a bit more shape. Down here on the front now, let's get this fixed up, where I just want to bring in some arches here on the sides for the sheep to, well, theoretically go inside into their pens when, you know, the weather gets rough or it gets dark. But, well, they're not going to be able to walk inside because it's full of redstone. So they're just going to be outside sheep. But it's fine. There's no wolves. Well, there are wolves in Minecraft, actually. I lied. And there's foxes. You know what? They're going to be safe. It's going to be fine. Let's give them at least a little bit of something, so we can just start extending down a little roof here using some spruce as a bit of a darker patch, moving into mud brick. Supporting that, I think we can bring down some jungle fences, and on the side we can have a little mud brick wall. I can't have a mud brick wall over here because I do want to bring out the fence so that we can actually have some sheep in here as well, and maybe just two lanterns here to light it up a little bit as well. Having added in the roof above the second entrance, let's throw in the fence to create our larger enclosure for the sheep. And let them out of the smaller one. which is looking really good. They're probably all going to be sat on the top edge just because of how the Minecraft pathfinding works, but I do really like having a little pen of sheep whenever I build a sheep farm. Usually I actually fill this up one. Oh yeah, you agree with that? Usually I actually fill them with a lot of light gray sheep because it's the wool I use the most, and if you're building the 1x1 designs, I find that I run out of it, so it's nice to have. But I really don't think we're going to be running out of wool unless I make a giant mountain and somehow need more than 3 large chests of light gray wool. I mean, maybe one day. No, I doubt it. I doubt they're going to be ever that big. To wrap this build up, we are now moving to the second floor, where we have been using a lot of brown tones so far throughout this build, so I figured some red mangrove tones could really bring this build to life and make it stick out a bit more. Finalizing it with another deep sea tough roof and a little chimney, which completes up the sheep farm and the exterior for it. And before we continue with these resources and build up our honey farm, I want to create another farm. So returning back to base to sort out some crafting with the resources I've already got, which is actually most of the blocks we'll need in contrast to the resource gathering earlier. I do, however, need a bit more wood as I'm going to need some more chests and hoppers for the farm output, so cutting down a few more spruce trees. Then I'd like a switch to turn the farm off, as I plan to create a fishing villager, trading hall nearby, and don't want spiders spawning. Which means I need some redstone lamps, which is why I'm here in the nether gathering some glowstone. Having crafted that, not as many resources as the wool and honey farm, but should be enough for our string farm. Just got to ride over to the village, as I want to build a string farm, and well, you might be asking yourself how. And for those of you who haven't seen, underneath here, found a spider spawner, and it's just such a ouch, and it was just such a perfect location that I just have to turn this into a farm, which means we have to do a fair bit of digging to get the spawner room prepared. And actually, before we get too far down, I want to add a little water area here right at the top along the edge, just for all of the spiders that will just crawl up the walls and get stuck in the ceiling, so that we actually clear them out. Open this up so that they can travel through, and then we add in some water. Need to go get a bit more. Been fighting a water cave as I go. That's why there's so much cobblestone everywhere, but I've got pretty much everything dug out, and I want to work a little bit on the output, where I definitely want to keep a couple of our spider eyes. So I was thinking, as we route the items over this way, we'll add a little sorter right here, add in a little trapdoor and a few filter blocks. We'll get the spider in there eventually. For this part, pretty simple. Just bring in some slabs, and it's getting a little dark in here, so I was thinking of redstone lamp in the roof here to signal when the farm is off. Up here, another 3 lamps. Bring ourselves down and making a little torch tower, and then I'm pretty sure we can just route that over and straight into that one and power all 3. Yes, should allow us to take away that torch and nothing should spawn. We need some water, which I have. I just need to grab it. There we go. This flows down, and oh, right. A few more hoppers right here. Some spruce trapdoors and a Roblox. Wait, no, this is wrong. Trapdoors should go right here. Oh, there we go. Perfect. First try. They should be able to get through there, and if we just were to switch this off, we have spiders. Oh, perfect. Oh, yeah, my knockback is gonna suck for this. No, don't want string in there. Want spider eyes in there. Perfect. And the string carries on that way. Great. No, I'm missing a repeater to send the items back up. Actually had everything to craft a redstone repeater, luckily, so we can finish this little thing off with that, and that should now be spewing items out. And we just need to bring this up, as I figured it'd be a little easier to have the storage up at the top. And ooh, we are on the outside. Did actually foresee these and brought some acacia trapdoors with me that we can just bring up here on the side, up into that. Bring the kelp up, get that broken, and swoop. With the exterior and farm itself sorted, just gotta clean up the interior a little bit to bring in the actual storage for the string, and well, remove that black concrete from the windows. Evidently looking a little better in here, and it feels really good to have a good supply of string, because my previous supply was in a cave far away and is annoying to get to, and yada yada. At least now we have this. I need to get a proper sword with probably Bane of Arthropods and, well, no, knockback. mainly, but we'll get that in the future. For now, yet another item automated, and we can head back to spawn, where I don't even need to do more material gathering. Although I should probably try to bring back as much of this as possible. Hey, Rumble. You wouldn't want to have some gold armor. Ooh, look at you. But with our string farm done, we now have 4 out of 5 of the automatic farms that I want to build today. And to start off working towards the honey farm, let's just pick out from these chests the blocks and items we actually need. Managed to slim the resources down a fair bit here. And let's just get started with the thing that we obviously have to do, grabbing some of our path blocks and bring off a slightly smaller branch of the path over to the honey farm, as this one definitely won't be traveled a ton on. Prepping the terrain over here towards the actual honey farm as well. I want to use a bit of wood down on the foundation level as some supporting structures, but mainly some gravel going into andesite, and I want to mix in a bit of polished andesite throughout as well. Not quite as much, but definitely just a little bit here and there. For a little entrance, we bridge up on this side. Let's bring in 2 windows here where we can use polished andesite on top with some oak trap doors on the inside here for the windows themselves. Maybe also for a little bit of extra depth, throw in some signs. Continuing to build this here, getting a footprint fully established for this honey building. For the larger portion here, I want to bring in a little trim above the foundation, just with some composters to break it up a little bit and add some variation throughout the building. Continuing up from this, I'm taking some inspiration from the stables, building with a slightly expanded on texture for the walls, using rooted dirt, granite, and tripstone, throwing in some windows with brown glass and mangrove trapdoors, and just generally detailing. Threw on a little 3rd floor up there with some mud and mushroom blocks, and I've got a really fun idea for the roof for this building. But before we get to that, I'd like to get the functional part in. I think I have everything that I'm gonna need for it. And let's start with the one that's a little more complicated, where we're gonna have a decently sized storage. We're going to have to run a little item sorter out of the back right here. Pop that in on top of that and get ourselves up there. Inheritor, and get back to this in a second. This is where our beehive is gonna sit. We know I lied about that. This is where our dispenser is gonna sit. That's where our beehive is gonna sit on top of. And then we're gonna bring this in over there. This is gonna be where we're making a small little honey bottle farm to get us our 4th automatic farm. That's gonna run over this way into some glass to get up, back down. Well, how should we import the bee? Oh, wait. As long as there's 2 bees, we can breed up the last one if we really need to. But hopefully we have, I think I have 10 beehives that are full. And well, as soon as we have this automatic farm, this manual farm is going to be pretty useless. I'm just gotta get them to go in. Well, I guess I should probably wait for nighttime then, shouldn't I? So in the meantime, this should all be working as soon as I get that beehive in and get the final redstone piece. We also need to add in the filter for a honey bottle in here, and an input actually for bottles, which we'll do up here. Right, now for the main part of this farm, which is of course the beeswax. And let's see, that's 6. We'll do 8. Probably very much overkill. I'm never going to use this much at once, but might as well add it in. And this hopper line over here. Then we're just going to branch this off over in this direction. These are much simpler. We're going to bring in our flowering azalea in front. Have observers, not facing that way, facing this way into a row of blocks with some redstone on top of that, which then goes out into this. With the dispensers facing down. See if I can get in a position to place these in fairly easily. Okay, it's nighttime. Let's see if they've all gone back inside. Oh, no, not yet. But they should all go. Now, I'm just gonna have to hope that I had 30 bees in here. I only need 7, so 21. Hopefully I picked the right ones. Come on, in you go. I feel like all of these are full at least. Okay, hopefully we pick some full ones. Oh, wait. Oh, I can't see how many. What data pack is that? Or is that vanilla now? No, that's not vanilla, is it? Okay, that's 5, 6, 7, and all of them have 3 bees. Perfect. Okay, we're just gonna keep it night just a little longer. Get on up here. Place that in. And that on top of it.
Hopefully that works. Ooh, I don't know if that's gonna work, actually. I feel like they could get through there, but no, I don't think they can. Should be fine. Just in case, we'll add in a few deep state blocks up here and a few hoppers over the top. Okay, we have chairs in all of them. Perfect. Right, let's grab some glass bottles as well then. Put that in and quickly sleep before any mobs get me. I need to light up my area so badly. It's fine though. Hurry in. I don't think they activated. Ooh, that's not great. I probably have to go through and activate them manually. This one should be pretty easy. Yep, and this one pretty easy as well, I reckon. Just do that, and we should have a honey bottle in here, which we put into our filter, and that should now be working. And we should have honeycombs down here. Perfect. This is one of those things we could make a lot bigger, but we don't really need to, because this is just going to work over time, and we should always have enough honeycomb. With the farm working, let's wrap this building up. For the roof, I want to use our weathered copper mixed with cobblestone and a bit of mossy stone bricks to create a frame and full roof for the smaller section. Where inside of the roof, I want to create a floor out of moss and then use white glass to fill in the rest. To create the perfect space for a greenhouse on top of the house, where lore-wise, this is where the honey from the beehives and flowers comes from, and not that cruel a thing underneath. I do really like that up there, and eventually you'll see a bee pop through as well. But I have a couple of flowers left over. So are you thinking what I'm thinking? Because I am thinking a flower field. Woo! Our first known crop field. And I thought it'd just be a super fitting one right here next to our honey/beewax farm. It looks really lovely back here. Wanted to bring in a lily of the valley field originally, but I couldn't find a lot of them. But I did find a lot of alliums. Just want to take a... Ooh. I need to do a little bit of work on the inside of this one, but it's fine for now. Have I got any honey? Yes, we have 4. And have we got any... Oh, nearly a stack. Oh, this is going to be amazing. But that is all we have time for today. And, well, we've had time to do a lot. From the nether, building a hoglin farm to supply the world with infinite cooked pork chop, to all the way out at the fishing village, turning a spider spawner into a string farm. But, of course, the 2 most important farms, a wool farm that should hopefully mean I never run out of wool in this world, and a honeycomb farm so that I can create all the candles I could ever need. Oh, and the bottles of honey as well. And I'm so excited to build even more automatic farms in this world, because the more farms we build, the easier the material gathering gets, which means the more we can build. But that is all for today. So as always, thank you to all of my supporters, and thank you to you for watching this video, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye bye.